you, Sean. I think I'm good. I think.
Hello, if you've been missing live athletics, you have come to the right place. This is our latest installment in the Ultimate Garden Clash. Once again, we have gathered 3 of the world's greatest athletes in 3 different locations, all competing on their own, but virtually together for the bragging rights in this most peculiar first half of the year. Now, in our first 2 installments, we focused on 1 discipline. Here, we're going to 3. This is the very essence of athletics. It's running, jumping and throwing, because this is the combined events edition. We've got 3 decathletes waiting in the wings, vying for top spots. So let's meet them now. We start off with a world youth champion, a world junior champion, and a man who last year became the youngest world senior decathlon champion in history, Germany's Niklas Kaul.
Hey guys, Niklas Kaul here. The 2019 World Decathlon Champion, and I'm currently here in Germany, in my hometown, where I live and train most of the time. I'm really happy that I can compete again. I can't wait to show Maicel and Kevin that I'm not only a good javelin thrower. See you on Sunday.
Hey guys.
Niklas, good afternoon. Are you ready for this unique challenge?
I hope so. I tried it once in the last 2 days, and I think I'm ready.
Have you missed competing?
Oh yes, I was a little bit nervous when I woke up today, and I missed that feeling the last couple of months. So I think it's really good to compete again.
Well, it's great to have you back in action. And up against Niklas is the man who finished just behind him in Doha with a lifetime best, a superb performance from the Estonian, now based in the United States, Maicel Uibo.
Hey guys, how's it going? Maicel Uibo here. The silver medalist from Doha World Champs. I represent Estonia, but I'm currently in the United States of America, in Clermont, Florida, where in my free time, I run her around. Now this Sunday, I'll be taking a break from this and showing Niklas and Kevin how things are done on this side of the ocean. So make sure you guys tune in and watch us live, how we go against each other. See you guys on Sunday.
Maicel, the first thing to say is after some dodgy reports of the weather in Florida, it looks relatively dry. So we look like we're good to go.
Of course, we're always ready to go.
And how have you trained for this? Because this is such a different way of challenging you guys, because we've got 10 minutes of pole vault, 10 minutes of shot put, and then 20-meter shuttle runs. This is a very different kind of mini decathlon, isn't it?
Right. It's something new for all of us. So hopefully it'll be a nice, fun thing to do, and we'll see who comes out as a winner.
Well, thanks very much to Maicel. So we've got the gold and silver medalists from the World Championships last year. And completing this triumvirate of excellence is a man who took Olympic silver behind Ashton Eaton in 2016. He became world champion in 2017. Oh, yeah. And there's the small matter of the world record that he secured in 2018. The pride of France, Kevin Mayer.
Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Kevin Mayer, Decathlon world record holder with 91.26 points. I'm here in Montpellier in the south of France with my team. They are here with me for this project, which I'm really excited to do with Niklas and Maicel. So yeah, it's not a real decathlon, it will be from distance, but I think it should be fun anyway. So see you on Sunday.
Kevin, the weather looks good. You seem calm and relaxed and ready. Is it nice to be back in action once again, albeit under these solo conditions?
Yeah, this is good conditions. There is a bit too much of wind. I hope the bar will not fall with the wind, but everything is here. I look forward to compete with the two guys. We don't know what these events can do, so we don't know who can win, so it will be good.
Well, we're all very much looking forward to it, and it's fantastic that we've got all three of these guys giving their time, ready to go toe-to-toe, albeit we've got one in France, one in Germany, and one in Florida. It should be a wonderful afternoon of action. We're expecting them to be out there for around about an hour with, as I said, 10 minutes of pole vault, 10 minutes of shot put, and 5 minutes of shuttle runs. Right then, we've got people watching all over the world. Get in touch with us. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube and on Twitter. It's hashtag Ultimate Garden Clash. I think for the first two editions, we had people watching in 90, possibly even 100 countries. And one man who'll be paying particularly close attention is the double Olympic champion and current president of World Athletics, Seb Coe. And he sent this message.
Hey, Kevin, Niklas, Maicel, thanks so much for creating our ultimate challenge, number 3. The fans love it, the athletes love it, we love it, and we love you for doing this. And actually, what you're also doing, setting aside the competition, you're also explaining to our greater sport that we are made up of 3 components: running, jumping, and throwing. Get to it.
Well, that is the cry and the message from Seb Coe. Now, he is one of 2 double Olympic champions from Great Britain. And earlier this week, I was lucky enough to catch up with one of his teammates from Moscow and LA. And I think you'll recognize this guy. He knows more than a thing or two about decathlon. Well, we have 3 of the greatest decathletes in action over the next hour, and we cannot wait to see how they tackle this unusual set of challenges. And if we're watching 3 of the greats, we ought to hear from one of the all-time greats. And we are delighted to have the former world record holder, European champion, Commonwealth champion, and double Olympic champion, Daley Thompson, with us. Daley, what a unique challenge for these Herculean men. Would you have been up for something like this back in your prime?
Back in my prime, I'm up for it now. Crikey, come on, Rob, let's get real. No, do you know what? I think it's a brilliant opportunity, because one of the worst things about all the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff is that most of the guys, it doesn't look as if they're going to actually be able to get a lot of competition this year. So that would have meant almost a year and a half, 2 years, just plain training. So I think that, you know, it's a great opportunity, and hopefully they'll have at least as many, if not more, eyes on them than the pole vault competitions that went on the last couple of weeks.
This is a tough challenge for decathletes, isn't it? It's a little bit different and it's tricky.
Well, the great thing is that it means everything and it means nothing. And you get into it what you put into it, or you get out of it what you put into it. And I just think that for the boys, just having something competitive to do is going to be really good fun.
Just going back again to the unusual rules of this competition, what's your gut instinct? Somebody like Mayer, for instance, how many times do you reckon he can clear 4 meters in 10 minutes?
I reckon he should be able to do it somewhere between 10 and 12 times.
Okay, and that's cool. And moving on to the shot put, again, as I mentioned, it's as many efforts on or over 12 meters as possible. How many do you reckon they can nail when you think that they're all plus 15 meter guys, and you know, Mayer's a 17:08 man?
Yeah, so to be honest, maybe they haven't quite put the line far enough. because they can actually do it standing. They don't even have to glide across the circle. So maybe they should make it a little bit tougher. I just have one other question. Do they have to go and collect their shot puts?
Yes. Yeah, they have to collect the shot puts, and if for some reason they put the bar down on the pole vault, it's up to them to re-erect it.
Right. Okay. And that, yeah. So they'll all make 12 meters a whole load of times, I reckon, because 12 meters is pretty. But I think the one that's going to sort them out is the two cones placed 20 meters apart, and that is where Kaul is going to come into his own.
Well, he is from a decathlete point of view, he is a brilliant 1500 meter run. I mean, there can't have been many throughout history, Daley, who've tickled 4:15 in a decathlon. That is not shabby at all, is it?
No, listen, it's brilliant, but he's going to need that. He's definitely going to need that. But do you know what? It's going to be interesting just to see what kind of shape everybody's in.
The other intriguing element about this, Daley, I mean, we've got three guys, one in Florida, one in Germany, one in the south of France, where although they're up against each other, in effect, it's a training session because they're on a track on their own. So it's a question of how much can these guys get the competitive juices going when they're on an empty track. That's quite strange.
Well, actually, as a decathlete, you do spend a lot of time on your own or just in small groups, and you have to kind of find your own motivation. So this is good. And as I was saying, because there's been absolutely no competitions this year, and probably unlikely to be many or any between now and next year, this is a brilliant opportunity for the guys. And it wouldn't surprise me if a few more of them got together and did very similar stuff for the next few months, because everybody should be in great shape.
Daley, thank you ever so much indeed. We can't wait to see you back at a trackside somewhere around the world. Let's hope we all do that soon, and enjoy your last 3 months with your two sons over the summer.
Rob, I've enjoyed this immensely. Let's do this again sometime, my friend.
Wicked. Cheers, Daley.
Cheers, buddy.
That was the irrepressible Daley Thompson. You could sit in a bar with an orange juice, of course, and talk to Daley for hours about all sorts of athletics. And I'm sure he, like many other people around the world, will be tuning in, intrigued by the competition we've got coming up over the next hour. Speaking of which, we've already clarified that we've got 10 minutes of pole vault, 10 minutes of shot put, and then a series of 5 minutes of shuttle runs. But here are the nitty-gritty of the rules for the next hour or so. So those are the rules as far as the first event is concerned. It's as many successful clearances over 4 meters as possible. I think by the wonders of modern technology, we can now just about check that our 3 men in France, Germany, and also in Florida are poised and ready. We've got Niklas Kaul. He's in the bottom left-hand side screen. He is the reigning world champion. Niklas, quick thumbs up from you that you're ready.
Looks ready.
Just checking he can hear us. He is. Maicel, bottom right, the World Championship silver medalist in Florida. We've just seen the thumbs up from him. and the reigning world record holder, bedecked in beautiful southern French sunshine. Kevin Mayer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I don't know for what, because I never did that, but I'm ready.
Well, never a truer or more honest word said. Kevin, Michael and Niklas will now get on their respective runways. So this is our first event of 3. It's the Combined Events Challenge. It's a pole vault, a shot put, and a sequence of shuttle runs. We start with the pole vault. As many clearances over 4 meters as possible, but they've only got 10 minutes in which to do it. And by the way, if you are just joining us, we will have some analysis from a double Olympic champion, not Daley Thompson, after the first event. So keep your ears open for who that might be. So we are almost ready. It's Niklas Kaul, it's Maicel Uibo, and it's Kevin Mayer. It's the pole vault first. Let's begin our countdown. We've had the thumbs up from all 3, couple of gremlins, but there are the screens. That's what it's going to look like for the next 10 minutes. Here is your countdown. They're starting in 5, 4, 3,
What? Kevin,
2,
ça commence.
1.
Vas-y, ça commence.
Yep, go ahead.
I think they're poised anyway. The clock is ticking. Well, Maicel Uibo has started. Niklas Kaul going well. We don't have any jumps yet from the current world record holder. Oh, he's gone off for a drink. So Kevin Mayer is a little bit behind the times here. He's getting his first vault in. I will just check with the producers that we'll carry on. I'm assuming we will, because it's he who missed the start. We got the thumbs up. We are carrying on. I've just been reliably informed by Matt, our producer. So Kevin Mayer's just made life a little tricky for himself there. He was over in the corner in the shade having a little drink and missed the start. But there we are. That does happen with live sport. We've got Niklas Kaul at bottom left. Maicel Uibo is bottom right. Kevin Mayer top right. And it's Niklas Kaul leading at the moment. Just bear in mind, 4 meters should be pretty simple for these guys. Niklas Kaul produced 5 meters en route to his wonderful victory in Doha last autumn. Maicel Uibo broke his PB overall and in the pole vault for the silver medal behind Niklas. Michael's bottom right. He had 5:40 in Doha, and Kevin Mayer is a 5:45 man. But it's all well and good doing it once, but it's as many clearances in 10 minutes as possible. Kevin Mayer is up to 3. Now, bear in mind, he gave the others a 25-second head start, so there might be a little bit of banter about that later on. Now then, get in touch with us, please, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. We're live throughout this afternoon. We're expecting the competition to last around about an hour. Here we are, full screen with Kevin Mayer. Olympic silver behind Ashton Eaton in Rio. Looking good so far. By the way, if there are any attempts that go wrong, the athletes themselves have to reset the bar. Well, already I'm being informed we've got viewers in Zimbabwe, Bangladesh, Mauritius, and the Bahamas. Well, the Bahamas, you would expect them to be tuning in. Maicel Uibo's wife, Shawnee Miller Weibo, an absolutely sensational talent over 400 meters, one of the fastest in history with a superb performance for the silver, just like her husband in Doha last autumn. A 2-time Commonwealth triple jump champion, Kimmy Williams on Twitter says, "Let's go, Maicel." Well, that's Kevin. He's up to 5. Niklas is on 4. Maicel also on 4. Dead level here. So Kevin Mayer has made up for his 25-second late start. Keep your comments coming in. Fantastic to have all 3 of these guys competing, going head to head. It's our 3rd edition of the Ultimate Garden Clash. We've had men's and women's pole vault, which has been sensational, both competitions, and thoroughly enjoyable for those of us who have felt absolutely starved of world-class athletics for the last few months.
Yep, thank you.
3 minutes 20.
So I'm just going to clarify with the producers here, because Kevin Mayer has asked whether he can have an extra 25 seconds at the end. So I'll let the producers have a discussion. and inform me as to whether or not Kevin is going to get the 25 seconds. It's gone beyond the producer and it's gone to the World Athletics hierarchy. So I'm as in the dark as you are. When they make a decision, they will, of course, let me know. An intriguing competition unfolding. The next element will be the shot put, and it's as many efforts with the shot put on or over 12 metres as possible. Kevin's going great guns here. Renaud Lavillenie, by the way, had, 36 clearances over 5 metres for our first Ultimate Garden Clash. He was tied with Mondo Duplantis, the sensational new world record holder, the Swede based in the United States. So they were tied on 36, but it was a great competition by Renaud and Mondo Duplantis. So we've already had one French winner in the Ultimate Garden Clash, and Kevin's hoping to be the second. Maicel and Niklas both on 7, Kevin on 8. Almost halfway through the pole vault element of this competition. We've got the world record holder, top right of frame. We've got the world champion, bottom left, and the world championship silver medalist, bottom right.
5 minutes.
Just less than 5 minutes to go. All guys are competing under their respective national lockdown restrictions. Helping Niklas, we have his girlfriend, Marika. She is a pretty decent heptathlete. Went to the World Juniors in Bydgoszcz a few years ago. She's done 5,500 points. Michael's assistant is one of his coaches, Evan. And top right, helping out Kevin, is his brother, Tomac. So all 3 guys are strictly adhering to their respective national rules about lockdown. Our first Ultimate Garden Clash was literally the back gardens of Sam Kendricks, Mondo Duplantis and Renaud Lavillenie. But as the restrictions have lifted, we have been allowed to watch these guys compete on their own, on their home track. So Kevin Meyer is in the lead. Weibo on 9, and now Niklas, the reigning world champion, joins him on 9. And if you are a fan of decathlon and athletics, you will remember that amazing 4:15 from Niklas Kaul, coming through to become the youngest world decathlon champion. In fact, I think it was a PB in Doha for both Niklas and Maicel Uibo. Maicel upgrading his bronze from the World Indoors the previous year to that outdoor silver, partly in thanks to that brilliant 5m40 he achieved in the pole vault. Kevin Meyer had a difficult time in Doha. He was unable to successfully defend the title he won so marvellously in London in 2017. No heighting on the pole vault. He had dragged his poor injured body right through up to and including the pole vault, but he finished that competition in tears. But he is a fabulous competitor. He showed that, bouncing back from his disappointment at the European Championships in 2018, and then finished that season with that incredible world record in Talons. They're still deliberating, by the way, World Athletics, whether or not Kevin will get the extra 25 seconds. His brother Thomas has asked us a couple of times. Keep your comments coming in over on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. We'll read out as many of them as we possibly can. Kevin's going great guns here. He's going off a very, very short run-up. And that, in fact, in the pole vault proved to be very useful for Renaud and Mondo Duplantis. Sam Kendricks was going from a longer run-up and was noticeably behind his 2 pole vault rivals in the first edition. All of them comfortably up into double figures here. And they will have a little break at the end of this before regathering for the 12-metre shot put competition before we finish with the shuttle runs. So Kevin out front, Maicel just 2 behind. We were a little bit worried, I'm touching wood when I say this, we were a little bit worried that the weather may play against us in terms of this competition, because we have had some heavy thunderstorms in Florida where Maicel is based, but the weather looks good at the moment. The grass is quite wet on either side of the runway as we watch Maicel Uibo. I think it was a bit of a breakthrough performance for Maicel with that great silver medal behind Niklas last year.
Minute and 20 left. 13.
Okay, so no extra 25 seconds for Kevin. That has been decided by World Athletics, but at the moment, quite frankly, he doesn't look like he needs it anyway. Kevin Meyer is on 15. Well, his brother temporarily put him up to 16. Maicel going well. Is that him now up to 14? I think it is. That's his coach, Evan,
so
just changing the
just to
scoreboard
confirm,
for
no
us.
20 seconds more?
No,
okay.
So Thomas just checking. Kevin, along with the other two, will finish in 37, 36 seconds. So Kevin leads from Maicel Uibo. This is Niklas Kaul. No, he didn't like that. And he might have a chance just to get one more in. As far as the rules are concerned, as long as they've started down the runway, their effort will count. So it's been pretty metronomic from Kevin Meyer after his slightly delayed start. We were a bit worried we were going to have to begin again, but he got his drink, he got going. On YouTube, we've got another comment coming in. This is so fun. Thank you. Kevin doesn't need the 25 seconds. And indeed, he doesn't. And he does go over because he had started that attempt before the time had run out. So Kevin Meyer, despite starting 25 seconds late, has taken the early advantage. So that's the first of 3 events done. Shot put to come, and then the shuttle runs will finish off. If you're just joining us, I promised before the competition began that we would have some analysis from a double Olympic champion. We heard from one of them, that was Daley Thompson, and I'm delighted to say that joining us live from the United States is another double decathlon Olympic champion. A very good morning over on his time zone to Ashton Eaton.
What's up, everybody?
Ashton,
hey, Rob.
Hey, yeah, good to see you, dude. It's been a lot of fun so far, and Kevin clearly didn't need the extra 25 seconds.
Oh man, when that started, I was thinking Kevin must have, the mic or something, just a little miscommunication. But I think that kind of fired it up and maybe got his heart going because he just started clicking him away.
Now, you got in touch with us on Twitter watching the very first edition of the Ultimate Garden Clash. So we're really delighted that you're here with us to give your analysis. As far as the combined events athletes are concerned, yes, they're familiar with pole vault and shot put and running, the 15, the 4, the 110 hurdles and the 100 meters. But the fact that they've got to do this multiple times in 10 minutes, this is a different challenge, even for you guys who are used to being adaptable and flexible and showing stamina in many different events. This is tough.
Yeah, actually, I think this is going to be tougher in a lot of ways than the day of the decathlon, mostly because, like you said, you're doing a series of events, but you have a much shorter break in between them. And so as a decathlete, you're always kind of forecasting when you do an event and you're going to go to the next one, how much energy did I use? And of course, you're always going to go all out. You're still kind of thinking about the end of the day. And that shuttle run at the end, obviously, I think these guys are going to be close. I would be thinking, man, how's what I've done? So I think this setup is really good.
Niki, müssen wir das hier auch zählen?
But not easy,
And what's your assessment of the shot put? Because although Kevin has a superb PB of over 17 meters and he's around about 2 meters up on the other two, this isn't really about a one-off throw. This is about these guys becoming a machine and hammering out 12 meters after 12 meters after 12 meters. So for you, does that level the playing field in this one?
I think it does. It adds an interesting element. So I think it definitely levels the playing field. I mean, all these guys have respectable PBs of 15 meters plus. So 12 shouldn't be too much of an issue. And I'd be curious to actually see what kind of approach they're going to take. Are they going to just do a standing throw? Or are they going to do their full kind of technique, full glide or spin even to throw? Because I imagine an interesting part of this is they actually have to go get the shot puts themselves. So depending on what kind of setup they have, they may not have a back barrier. And so those crucial seconds of the shot rolling further may actually make a difference. So I'm very curious to see the strategies here.
And you've got good knowledge of all three of these guys. You've competed against all of them. Kevin took the silver behind you in Rio. You've been competing against Michael for a while, and Niklas has been on camp with you, I think, back in 2016. They are three very different talents, but as they've all demonstrated, they're capable of producing the goods under massive pressure. It must be nice in a way for you to see that you've left the sport and your discipline in particular in very safe hands.
Yeah, I've been thinking that ever since 2018 when Kevin broke the world record, and then I was in Doha last year watching Niklas, as a rising star come up, and obviously I've known Michael to be a very good decathlete for a long time now. So yeah, I think it was a really good time, because I actually tried to do the shuttle run myself the other day, and I was like, nope, nope, I definitely don't have it anymore. And these guys are the future of the sport, so I'm happy they're out here kind of representing in these uncertain times.
So how many did you manage then? Did you do the full 5 minutes? Come on, be honest.
I tried, but I was basically just dogging it. I just wanted to get a sense of how this aerobically would make me feel compared to like a 15 or 400, and it's taxing. It's I think it's just a kind of a different workout that athletes aren't used to, and you have to understand, as track athletes or decathletes, we train a very specific way for a very specific outcome. And so a slight change, even though we are good athletes and we can handle it, is just the body reacts, I think, differently than people would expect. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they go.
A question for you about Kevin, if I may, because if you think back to 2018, he's come second behind you in Rio in 16. He wins the world title brilliantly in 17. And then at the European Championships, I think he didn't register a long jump, and his competition was over, and he was the overwhelming favourite for the gold. So what a declaration of his character and determination that he bounced back from that European disappointment to smash that world record. That showed that he's got real gumption, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think Kevin has always been like this. I've known him as a competitor for a long time, like you said. And when there's something like that happens, where he has some kind of expectation that he wants to meet, and he doesn't, it just fires him up, and I think gives him more fuel to progress the next year. And I believe he even made a comment like, I was so disappointed with that I think it led to my world record, or at least advanced my training. And so it's the mentality of a decathlete. I think you don't get to this level without having some sense of wanting to be better every single time you're doing an event and trying to PB. And when you have the strength and the stamina, and you're just ready to go, and something like a technical thing holds you back, you just want to prove yourself even more.
And just a quick one on Nick. He's a great star, and he'll be so determined to bounce back after after injury curtailing his opportunity to successfully defend his title last year in Doha. Yep. What about Niklas? Now, your 4:17 plus change was pretty tasty. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Ashton finished off the World Championship in Beijing in 2015, running almost like a wild animal on that final 1500 to break the world record. It was one of the moments in the Beijing Olympic Stadium. It really was. So I didn't really think I'd see a decathlon won in a 1500 meter time quicker than that until Niklas last year. Now, bearing in mind you took Niklas on camp, were you surprised at his 4:15, or bearing in mind how you'd seen him progress through the youth and junior ranks, did you think, okay, I knew that was coming?
Frankly, I was actually watching his javelin more than I was watching his running, and over the years as he was progressing, coming from juniors. And so I was surprised when he ran 4:15. I had some people tell me, Niklas is a pretty good 1500 meter runner. And I was like, really? And when I saw him go, I think the first lap in Doha, I was like, oh, wow, this kid is just, it looks like he's jogging. And so I was very surprised. In fact, I'm still recovering from my 4:15 in Beijing in 2015. I think Niklas, that was his warm-up run. So I think it's really good for a decathlete to have that ability, and to know they have that ability to run that fast if they need to, because that could be a huge point swing. in the competitions. And yeah, I think it's really good to have decathletes really push themselves in that event.
Great stuff. Thank you very much for your analysis. For now, you'll be hearing more from Ashton just after the shot put. Now, behind the scenes, we've had a few gremlins going on. It gave us an opportunity to pick the brains of one of the world's all-time greats, and we'll have more from Ashton. Now, apparently, we are going to start this shot put. We have temporarily lost pictures in Germany, which means we've lost a visual reference on the reigning world champion, Niklas Kaul. But I'm reliably informed we are going to start because we can see Kevin Mayer, the world record holder in France, and we've got Maicel Uibo in Florida ready to go over there. Now, and Niklas has come back. The wonders of modern technology. There's been all sorts going on behind the scenes here to try and get him back. So can we have either an audio or a visual reference from Kevin, top right, that he's ready to go? I think he is. Michael, are you ready? There's a thumbs up. Yeah. Niklas, bottom left, are you back with us? Are you ready? Well, he's frozen, but we think he is ready. And even if we lose pictures, we'll keep you posted on how this goes. We've got 3 guys competing simultaneously, one in France, one in Germany, and one in Florida. So we're bound to have a few interruptions along the way. Quite frankly, it's part of the excitement and it's part of the journey. So World Athletics tell me we are good to go with part 2. It's Mayer against Kaul against Weibo, and here is your countdown. They've done the pole vault. Here comes the shot put. It's as many efforts on or over 12 meters as possible in 10 minutes. So here, apparently, anything could happen. Here's your countdown. Hopefully, we can still see all 3 of them as they start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, well, Michael's absolutely smashed that. Kevin running forward. Well, he's got to save some energy for the shuttle runs to come. And we're a little bit jolty with Niklas Kaul, bottom left, but we will keep you posted on how he's going. Kevin's on 2. Michael, bottom right. We can't quite see the measurements for Niklas, bottom left. We were having a few gremlins whilst we were talking to Ashton Eaton, who will be back, by the way, with more analysis after we've seen this shot put. So you are watching the 3rd edition of the Ultimate Garden Clash. This is the combined events. Kevin Mayer, top right, is the reigning world record holder. Maicel Uibo broke his PB and had an absolutely sensational performance in Doha last autumn for the World Championship Silver, which was an upgrade on his World Indoor Bronze the previous year. And Niklas Kaul, bottom left, well, an absolutely prodigious junior, as we focus now on Kevin Mayer. Kevin's PB, by the way, in a decathlon is 17:08. So no wonder he's making 12 meters look easy. Michael has thrown, bottom right I'm talking about now, here is Michael. He's thrown well over 15 meters, so he's going to be very comfortable. That's one of his coaches, Evan. Hopefully his wife, Shawnee Miller-Weibo, will be tuning in. One of the world's leading athletes at the moment. Sensational talent over 400 meters. Not too shabby over 200 either. She's an absolutely superb sprinter. They both got silvers last year in Doha. We're still losing a little bit of picture quality with Niklas Kaul. He's doing all 3 of his events indoors. His girlfriend, Marika, is helping out. So Kevin is going great guns here. The scoreboard is a little bit behind there. Michael looks as though he's up to 4. Remember, there will be a fraction of a second of delay here between the individual efforts and the scoreboard updating. Niklas, we understand, is in 3rd. And overall, Kevin Mayer, the world record holder, is on fire. You just heard Ashton Eaton a moment or 2 ago talking about how well Kevin bounced back from his disappointment of not registering a mark in the long jump on what should have been a superb run to gold at the European Championships a couple of years ago, and then went and annihilated the world record with a sensational performance in, I think it was September 18 in Talence. He's a world junior champion, a world youth champion, although that was 2009. A man who has shown great character, and it was desperately disappointing for him. He was in tears when he couldn't get himself over a height in the pole vault last autumn. This is Maicel Uibo, the Estonian, based over in Florida. He went to the World Youth, Maicel, as a high jumper, and then went to boarding school in Tallinn and was thrown in with the multi-events coach. And the rest, as they say, is history. Niklas looks like he might have caught up a little bit with Maicel Uibo. 6 apiece. Kevin out front at the moment. But maybe it'll be the shuttle run that separates the men from the boys. That's brutal because the cones will be 20 meters apart, but a circuit counts as a full out and back. So each run, each score of 1 on the run will be 40 meters, and they've got to do as many as they can in 5 minutes. Kevin and Niklas will be the quickest runners, so Maicel needs to give himself an opportunity here. So we're almost, well, we're not too far away from halfway in this shot put competition. Keep your comments coming in, by the way. Mike Baptiste on YouTube. I'm watching from Grenada, and of course, I'm supporting the Bahamian. He's written in capital letters, Maicel Uibo. Maicel Uibo, married, of course, to Shawnee Miller Weibo, proudly represents the Bahamas. So Maicel has support not only from Estonia, but from all over the Caribbean as well. Nina Landin says, this is so fun, thank you. And we've had viewers, as mentioned earlier, as far away as Zimbabwe, Mauritius, Bangladesh, and the Bahamas. Just coming up to halfway then is in this second event of 3. Maicel Uibo just giving himself a little bit of a rub down with the towel. He's just a little bit behind Niklas, but overall they're tied on 24 points, as it were. This is Niklas Kaul competing indoors. His father, by the way, Maicel, is a pretty handy, or was a pretty handy 400-meter hurdler, 49.55. The youngest ever world decathlon champion. And when you think the caliber of athletes who've won that world title, Ashton Eaton, who we'll be hearing from shortly, Daley Thompson, Brian Clay, Sebrele, that is quite some accolade for Niklas Kaul. Hazel Burr gets in touch on Twitter. Well, he's getting a little bit tired, Maicel Uibo, but it was over 12 meters. Good afternoon to you, Hazel. It doesn't say where you're watching, but it just says, you've sent us in a note saying, loving this today. I'm missing athletics so much. Thank you. Well, thanks to you, Hazel, for tuning in. It's been a strange old year for so many different reasons. Most of these athletes would just be coming into a couple of Diamond League meetings and then going into their holding camps and getting ready for Tokyo. Well, we know that'll come next year, so let's focus on what we can do this year. And we've got world-class athletes in so many different disciplines, in so many countries around the world, all staying in shape.
Oh, run 'em.
And through these Ultimate Garden Clashes, we've been able to bring you some fun and games from a few of them. And occasionally, you will hear words from the support staff. Niklas's girlfriend, as I mentioned, Marika, you might hear her talking to Niklas. It'll be Evan talking to Maicel Uibo. And Thomas is Kevin Mayer's brother. Apparently, Shawnee Miller Weibo is around the track somewhere, but she is adhering to the rules and sticking to a safe and sensible distance. So we probably won't get a glimpse or have the opportunity to speak to the silver medalist from last year, but we're reliably informed she is there or thereabouts. So inside 3 minutes to go. Maicel Uibo, that line is at 12 meters. He has thrown over 15. This is a great effort from all 3 of these guys. It's a rather different type of competition to that which they're normally used to. And we'll get expert analysis from the 3-time world indoor champion, the double world outdoor champion and 2-time Olympic champion, Ashton Eaton, in a couple of minutes' time. Just over 2 minutes to go. Very, very tight between Niklas Kaul and Maicel Uibo, the gold and silver medalists from Doha, but comfortably out front is Kevin Mayer. Niklas continuing to grind this out. He's in Germany, bottom left, Florida bottom right, and France top right. British marathon runner Mara Yamauchi, loving the Ultimate Garden Clash. Combined events as an endurance sport. Go guys. If I remember rightly, I think Mara Yamauchi may have finished 6th in the Beijing Olympic Marathon, which either equaled or was very close to the best British performance by a female marathon runner. And I had the opportunity of commentating with her last year in Doha. A fantastic expert in all sorts of athletics. So great to have Mara's insight on Twitter. Amber Graham on Twitter as we enter the last minute and 15 seconds. Fantastic competition. Track and field is always my favourite. The technology is absolutely insane. Thank you, Amber. Well, we're doing our best. There might be the odd little bit of breakup, but don't worry about that. We're trying to bring you 3 guys competing simultaneously, 1 in France, 1 in Florida, and 1 in Germany. Inside the last minute, everybody. I think the 3 assistants, Marika, Evan, and Thomas, passing these messages on. We can make out Niklas, the world champion, just ahead of Maicel Uibo. Uibo's been jogging back over. He's really going for this. Remember, if they get one started, even if the clock says 0, it will count. Just inside 30 seconds to go. Kevin Myers absolutely on fire here with 26. Surely those arms are going to start getting tired sometime soon. Inside the last 10 seconds. This is so close between Niklas Kaul and Maicel Uibo for the silver.
3, 2, 1.
I think that effort will count from Kevin Meyer, which means he's gone to 27. So Kevin Meyer out front. He's an absolute machine. But next comes the shuttle runs. Very, very close between Niklas Kaul and Maicel Uibo. We'll give the guys a few minutes to regroup and regather before this most brutal of ways to finish. The 1500 on the track's pretty tough for these guys, but a sequence of 5 minutes of shuttle runs, really tough with the tight turns coming every 20 meters. Let's bring in Ashton Eaton once again. Ashton, Kevin is just on fire. That was crazy.
That was unbelievable. I was interested to see everybody's strategies, and to see Kevin do the standing throw was no surprise, and to see Maicel do the standing throw. But I was surprised to see Niklas do the full throw in his shot there. But I mean, Kevin was insanely consistent. He would stand, and I think the ball or the shot, would hit just about the same spot every single time, just barely beyond 12 meters, maybe a meter beyond. And it was almost like he was moving, getting ready to get out of the ring before the shot even hit the ground. Of course, you have to wait, and he did. But he had it going. You could tell. I think he had practiced this. Wow.
It must be strange in a funny kind of way. I was going to ask you this beforehand, but we just ran out of time. I wonder how difficult it was for those guys to get out of their mindset, throw it as far as I possibly can, because as you correctly indicated, Kevin was almost underperforming, because the further he threw it, the more tired he would get and the more energy he's wasting, because it was 12 meters, it wasn't a 16 and a half or a 17 wasn't required. I wonder how strange that might have been for those guys.
I was thinking so I actually timed it. So Kevin was pretty much around 20 to 22 seconds between every throw. So he would throw, and then 22 seconds later he'd throw again. And I timed a couple of Niklas's and Maichel's, and Niklas, it took him about 25 seconds, and Maicel about 30 seconds between each throw, and sometimes longer because he was walking a bit more. And I'm like, okay, so basically Kevin's getting an extra throw every 4 or 5 throws. So he just had it dialed in as far as like a consistency and timing thing. He was just faster. But I do think that also, Maicel may have struggled a bit. Just, in Florida, it's raining. You can see he had the towel. Throwing a wet shot is actually a lot harder than it sounds. So that could have been a factor in kind of cleaning off a little bit, because when you're looking at 5 minutes, like every second counts,
And you've just mentioned Michael there, and yeah, I wonder whether that humidity may have played a part. Even though he's been around for a while and he had the world indoor bronze in 2018, would you agree that last year for Michael, even though he's now 27, was a real breakthrough performance? Because it's one thing doing it indoors, and those are great medals to have, I'm sure, but outdoors, you suspect that would have meant a little bit more to him. I thought that was a very important silver medal for him at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely indoors, even though it's challenging, from a decathlete's perspective, it's not outdoor. And outdoor is really the proving ground. Outdoor is the decathlon. And it's what you train for. From our perspective, we love doing indoor, but we would use it, again, kind of as a test for outdoor. So I think for Michael to get that silver, I think the indoors kind of was showing him, hey, I have what it takes. And for him to finally do it outdoor in 2018, I think was great. I'd be curious to know, for him mentally, how that felt. But for me, as just a fan and a friend, I was really happy for him to get that.
And also, from your perspective, Ashton, I kind of jokingly said earlier that you guys are used to conditions evolving and changing because your competition isn't done in, one semi and one final. It's over 2 days, and a lot can happen and a lot can change in that time. But how difficult do you think it would be, from a decathlete's point of view, to suddenly find out that the focus of your 4-yearly cycle has shifted by an entire year? How tough will this have been mentally for all the decathletes and all the heptathletes who now have to shift their focus by almost 12 months?
Yeah, I was trying to think of this, and I really do think it's situational. So if you were an athlete like me who was, quite frankly, at the end of their career, I think in the decathlon, and you were thinking maybe this would be my final go for the Olympic Games, and now you have to extend it a year. That might be tough. You may have been kind of like mentally ready to be done, and now you have to kind of motivate yourself for a year. And some people think it's the Olympic Games. How hard can it be to motivate yourself? But sometimes it's difficult to keep up the training slog without competitions and really prepare for a high pressure event. But for some athletes, if you're injured, we could see this as a benefit. We could see it as, hey, I got time to recover, and while I was actually pretty nervous, ready for the games, now I feel like I have a fair shot and a chance to prove myself. And then maybe for young athletes, I was thinking this could actually be tough for them also. I don't know. I think from the perspective of proving themselves, from the perspective of getting that experience, I think it was beneficial for me to kind of get to big competitions early. So to delay another year, to be another year older, in some ways is good and bad.
Well, yeah, and I guess, we're all adapting to this situation as we go along. Now, one really interesting element of the Ultimate Garden Clashes is we've had people who wouldn't traditionally be track and field fans tuning in because they're intrigued and they want to see some live action. So we've got an opportunity here to hook in people who wouldn't necessarily always immediately tune into athletics. And in case we have got a few watching now, can you give a little insight as to why there is genuinely such a strong sense of camaraderie amongst decathletes and heptathletes? Because that scene at the end of every major championship decathlon and heptathlon, when you all go on the lap of honor together, there's nothing forced in that, and there's nothing fake about everybody pretending to be friends. There is such a genuine mutual respect amongst you. Can you give a sense for people who are new to athletics as to why there is such a strong bond between the combined events, men and women?
For sure. I think the decathlon and heptathlon are events where you are personally trying to battle against yourself. And I think there's two elements that make decathletes and heptathletes so close. And it's kind of hard to articulate, but when you're going into a battle, so to speak, or when people struggle together, I think they get a mutual understanding, and kind of that forms a bond between those communities. When you have gone through kind of a difficult time with someone, you kind of have a mutual understanding. And I think heptathletes and decathletes have that with each other, to say, to get to this point, we know what we've had to go through. We really respect you for doing that. And I think the second part of it is there's the competition against others that other people see, but we all know it's a competition against ourselves. And what that affords is people to actually be friends during competition, because we're just using other people's performances to try to improve ourselves. So I'm not really trying to beat you, I'm trying to beat me, but using your competition to motivate me. And so I think those kind of two elements, from a very basic sense, allow us to say, hey, let's come together, because this is about us overcoming ourselves against something that's really challenging in our life.
Great insight there from a man who knows so much about decathlon and heptathlon. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to talk to him again after the sprint. Now, there have been a few little gremlins working behind the scenes, but I think we are back. We are just about to go with the sprint. I'll just clarify the rules on this one. Hopefully you can now see the three boxes. We're waiting for a little confirmation that Kevin Mayer, the world record holder and the leader in this afternoon's Ultimate Garden Clash, we're waiting just to confirm that he is in and poised and ready. What you're going to see is two cones placed 20 meters apart. One complete circuit is up and back, and the guys have to go round the cones. It won't count as a complete circuit, so if they start one but they don't finish, that will not count. So Kevin Mayer is out front. It's very, very close in the battle for silver in the Ultimate Garden Clash between Niklas and Maicel. So this might be the event they're dreading, and we'll get some great insight into the 1500 pain from Ashton Eaton shortly. But I'm just going to double check. Kevin Mayer, top right, can you give us a visual or an audio cue that you are ready for the sprint? I think he's here. There's the thumbs up. Maicel Uibo is ready. I think I've just seen a thumbs up from Evan. And Niklas Kaul, the world champion, are you poised and ready for this brutal finish to our combined events edition? We are good to go at last. So here we are. We've got France, Germany and Florida for the third installment in these three disciplines. They've done the pole vault, that looked class. They've done the shot put, that was all power. Now they've got to grind this out. It's their equivalent. It's the Ultimate Garden Clash equivalent of the 1500 meters, as many circuits as possible in 5 minutes. Boy, oh boy, we're going to see some pain and sweat here. The countdown begins. They start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and off they go. So I wonder here whether the biggest challenge is going to be the loss of momentum at the end of each mini circuit. Well, Kevin's brother Thomas has just dropped the iPad. Hopefully it didn't break. It would have landed on the grass. We'll try and catch up as best we can with regards to how many successful circuits we've got from Kevin. In terms of PBs, for those of you who really are interested in the nitty-gritty, Kevin at top right is a 4:18 man. Niklas Kaul, bottom left, is 4:15. That was in Doha. It was a ridiculous run. It was so good. And Maicel Uibo is a very, very powerful performer. So he's not quite as quick as the other two. He's a 4:45 man. So perhaps we wouldn't quite see as many circuits from Maicel as we would from the likes of Kevin Mayer. Well, we've got a message coming in from the president of World Athletics. He's watching from World Athletics HQ. Thanks again, guys. Great sport, great entertainment. And I think he'll more than appreciate some of the agony these guys will go through. They'll be running a little slower than he did in his pomp. KJT, Katarina Johnson-Thompson, what a performance she produced at the World Champs in Doha last year. Absolutely incredible to take that world title. She's written, I think Kevin just put the shot over 12 meters more times in that 10 minutes than I've done in my whole career. Brilliant from KJT. We'll be hoping to see her somewhere competing on the World Athletics circuit between now and the end of the year. She'll be hoping to go great guns next year in Tokyo 2021. So good to have some former world record holders and Olympic champions watching, and some reigning world champions tuning in as well. 3 minutes to go. Right, let's get back to the competition here. This is brutal. Kevin Mayer looks as though he is going to take the title. It might look like he's lumbering, but he is quick. Look at Niklas Kaul, bottom left as well. Maicel Uibo contending with some fairly sticky, humid conditions in Florida. He takes a couple of little sort of stutter steps there as he goes round. These are big guys to be grinding it out over 5 minutes. Halfway through, and Doyle on Twitter, loving this competition. Kevin is on fire. So good they brought in Ashton Eaton in between events. Couldn't agree with you more. Fantastic insight from a triple world indoor champion, twice world outdoor champion, twice Olympic champion. Well, at one stage we thought maybe he might go for the hat trick. If I get a chance, I'll ask him the question about that. But he looks very comfortable now in retirement. 2 minutes to go. Kevin's going well here. So too Niklas. In fact, Maicel Uibo running really well, considering that he's a 4:45 man over the 1500. Very, very tight between Niklas and Maicel, and one on our total is 40 meters because it's an out and back that counts. The tally doesn't go up every 20; it's every complete circuit of out and back. There's Kevin. Oh, it's great to see it. Is there a tiny little huddle of kids just in the background on the entrance to the track? That's quite sweet. Trying to get a glimpse of the 2017 world champion, the Olympic silver medalist, and the current world record holder, who, as I mentioned earlier, showed real character to bounce back from his disappointment in the Europeans to smash that world record. 9,000, what was it? 9,128? Absolutely outrageous.
I don't know.
Minute to go. 1 minute, we just see the back of Evan, one of Michael's coaches. And just to reiterate, all three of these athletes and their one helper strictly adhering to the respective lockdown rules in France and Germany here and in Florida as well. Nicholas is such a good 1500 meter runner for a decathlete. Everybody goes on about his javelin, but my goodness me, he can run. Just about 30 seconds to go. He's pulling away a little bit from Maicel Uibo into second place, but the win here surely is going to go to the current world record holder, who, by accident, gave everybody a 25-second head start on the pole vault. Really enjoyed this competition. Last 10 seconds. Oh, Kevin knows he's done it. A little punch of the air. Kevin Meyer is just out of shot, but look at that, 26 circuits. He is an absolute machine. Is he tired? Yes, he is. And bearing in mind, he gave away about 25 seconds at the start of the pole vault. A superb number of throws over 12 meters. His brother Thomas doing great work on the cameras. Has he got enough breath? We were going to go straight to the virtual podium. We just wait for him to put the earpieces in. Remember, we're doing this across multiple continents here, trying to get this technology to work. I hope we can just go back to Kevin for a quick word. Can the producers confirm that we're going back to Kevin just before we do the podium? But they're denying me the moment. They say Kevin needs a bit more time to recover. Here's a confirmation of the podium. Kevin Meyer, the world record holder, coming out on top.
Dernière voie. Vitesse. C'était bien. C'est trop bien. Hein? Ouais. On la perche.
That was an absolutely superb effort from all three. But Ashton Meyer is an animal.
Wow, that was absolutely fantastic. Kevin is a machine, man. He is just dialed in. From the vaults, like you could tell from the vault, he had it dialed in where he's just barely clearing that bar, like using the minimal amount of energy. The shot put, the same thing. It was just barely going across the 12-meter line, like almost in the same spot every time. And he was just clicking away on this shuttle run. That was unreal.
And were you expecting Kevin to take that one? I thought it might be a little closer, actually.
Well, for the whole competition, I wasn't necessarily expecting Kevin to win. I actually thought it'd be pretty close between everybody. But I think everybody had different strategies, which in the end, like again, this is how the decathlon heptathlon work. It kind of just keeps adding up. And Kevin had just, I think, the speed and efficiency strategy that worked over time. But I thought Maicel would give him a good go in the shuttle run, and same with Niklas. But I think Kevin was too far ahead.
Okay, well, I think we have got all three of our brilliant world-class decathletes ready and waiting to give us a minute or two of their reflections. Well done to all three of you. Thank you for being such great sports. We've thoroughly enjoyed the last, hour or so. Kevin, if we can start with you, you have taken the third edition of the Ultimate Garden Clash. May I ask, how did that 5-minute shuttle run compare to a 1500 at the end of a decathlon? How was it?
You know what? I thought it will be tough, but it was easier than 1500 because I'm good at sprint and not good at 1500. So I think that was just acceleration, and I was better at that. So I think this triathlon was good for me at the end.
And I don't know whether you noticed, but there were a couple of children just over your shoulder at the entrance to the track, just watching. So your efforts have not only gone out online, but we've seen one or two French school children, motivated by what you've done. So that's been a great afternoon's work over there in France.
Yeah. I saw all the children there. That was amazing. They give me strength. I had my family around me, my grandfather who came. I know we shouldn't be there, everyone, because of the rules of distance, but they respected that. So I have my crowd. They were allowed to encourage me, but they were there, and that was enough.
And just a quick word, Maicel, how tough was the humidity there?
Yeah, it's crazy. We got about 28 degrees Celsius right now and crazy humidity. It got a little tricky in the pole vault in the end. My hand started slipping, and then a shot put with the chalk. The chalk just ended up like caking up and not really spreading on the hand, so it was a little tricky. But I know it was going to be that way. But it was fun.
Well, well done. You were a great sport. Niklas, I can just confirm you covered 1,080 meters, just ahead of Kevin on 1,040. So although you've come second, you had that last laugh when it comes to the the shuttle race at the end. Oh, we've lost Niklas's audio. Now we might try and get him back. Now, guys, I know Kevin and Maicel can still hear me. One of your rivals, one of your former rivals, would like to ask you a few questions. I'm joined by Ashton Eaton. So, Ashton, if you'd like to ask the guys a couple of questions, take it away.
What's up, fellas? That was awesome. Way to go. So yeah, I guess my first question would be to Kevin. We know in decathlon, the kind of fatigue builds up over the events. So how were you pacing yourself, and was it what you expected at the end?
Hi, Ashton. It's a pleasure to speak to you again. We miss you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. I miss you too, man.
Can you repeat the question, because I have a little bit of acid lactic and my hair are not really good now.
Sure. No problem. In the decathlon, the fatigue kind of builds up over the events, and so I was just curious, how did you plan for that, and was it what you expected? Were you as tired during the shot in the shuttle?
I didn't plan anything. Yesterday I trained for sprint. I do some sprints with my partner. I did a gym after, so I wasn't prepared for that. That was the whole interrogation on what was going on. So that was awesome. Interesting. In shot put, I think I made the difference because my PB was at 17, so it was easier for me to throw at 13 every time. So I just took a rhythm. I questioned myself if I was going to handle it, but
Yeah.
it happened, and that felt good. At the shot put, I was really tired. The leg where when you put the shot was horribly, but at the end, but that was really good. A good effort.
Yeah, you looked like a machine, man. Congratulations, that's cool.
Thank you.
Michael,
You are too.
Michael, quick question, man. What if you had to do this again, what would you change? Knowing what you know
I wish
now,
I had
right.
Shot put, I would definitely go a little faster, start out a little faster than shot. The shot wasn't actually that hard. Just towards the end, when I started sweating more, when I started jogging to go get the shot, the neck got a little slippery. But other than that, I would probably get out a little harder in the shot. And yeah, the shuttle run pretty much the same. Just kind of keep the same pace, and then maybe wear spikes. And for the pole vault, if I had a smaller pole, I'd probably come from a 6-step approach instead of 8. But I just didn't have pick the smallest pole I had.
Yeah, I was going to wonder that. I think, yeah, he was on 8, and I think you were on 6 there, weren't you, Kevin? Yeah. Nicholas, can you hear us? Are you with us now?
Yeah. I think I'm back.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so quick question for you, man. After, coming off of last year and then having the games postponed, you have this event with these guys. What kind of was your sense of this? How do you feel about this? And knowing that maybe something like this keeps happening in the future, or would you like it to?
Yeah, I was really happy that I could compete with the other guys again, because I wasn't able to do that in the past 3 or 4 months. So it's really good to have these competitions back with the other guys.
Awesome. Guys, I think this has been awesome. I really appreciate, and I just want to thank you guys for volunteering to do this, to show our sports to the world in a new way, and go home, get some rest, have the traditional post multi-event meal, and thank you again. Rob, back to you, man.
Appreciate you.
Brilliant stuff, and great insight from Ashton Eaton, talking to 3 men he competed with and against for so long. So Kevin Mayer took the Ultimate Garden Clash title. Niklas Kaul, the reigning world champion, he took silver. And Maicel Uibo bringing it home in 3rd place. Massive thanks to all 3 of the guys. I'm not sure whether they are all still there. For one final wave, guys. We've had people watching from all over the world. Just wave a thank you to us. There we go.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks ever so much. We hope to see you somewhere on the circuit soon. Great efforts from the decathletes, and we will watch out for them later on this season. Thanks to all of them. Now, if you still haven't had your fill of athletics, then stay with us here, because on the Wander Diamond League social channels, you have the call room, an opportunity to hear from Rai Benjamin, the 3rd fastest 400 hurdler in history, took silver at the World Champs last year. You'll also hear from Christian Coleman, the reigning world champion over 100 metres and the world record holder indoors over 60. And Shelby Houlihan will also be reflecting on some great Diamond League performances and 5 outdoor senior US titles over the 1500 and 5,000 metres. That's at 10 o'clock Central European time or 1 p.m. Eugene time on the west coast of the United States. In the meantime, that is just about it from France, from Germany, from Florida, and here in East Gloucestershire. Thank you for your company. This was the combined events edition of the Ultimate Garden Clash, and it just goes to show nobody does it quite like decathletes. Until the next time, bye-bye.